Hey guys, well, came in this morning and took the crane and lifted C1, C2 pack, put it on the flywheel and torqued it down, and then obviously I put the rock shaft on. Haven't bolted it down yet, but got it on there. I just gotta I gotta go over and do a bunch of service calls today too, so it's pretty hard to get things done in here when you constantly getting called out all the time for stuff broke down. It's just this haying season's been absolutely crazy, you know. It's just there's so many of these guys that have got grain hay and grass hay. Is that the grass comes along a little slower after you cut it the first time. So what'll happen is you'll cut first cutting grass, and then you'll cut the alfalfa. Well, then the alfalfa grows so much faster, especially in this hot weather, that they'll go into second cutting and start cutting the alfalfa again, and then they'll finish up second cutting on alfalfa, and you think, oh yeah, we got a little bit of reprieve, and then they're cutting grass again. And then on top of that, a bunch of these outfits have got grain hay, so then they're into the grain hay now. It's just a never, I guess I'm not complaining, it's just the way it is. Just never, for about 4 months of my life here during haying season, it's just non-stop, you know. So that's what I'm doing. I got to go over and look at some haying equipment. So, and that's what this tractor's doing too. It's pulling a big baler, and I'm trying to get it ready to go before third cutting. So hopefully everything goes right once we get it fired up, and it's not like the 4050 where I had to have it split in half 3 different times to get it to go right. But anyway, I'll be back later with this one. Anyway, here's where I'm at. Went and did some service calls, and I got back, and now I got the feed tubes here in. Put the little hold down clamp in there, like so. Get the impact. I got the new line on it. One of my customers, they were already over there, so they picked up this fitting because it broke off right here, and the male end broke off inside the swivel here on the line. So I got a new line and a new fitting. I probably could have eventually got that out of there, but it's like, shit, I got so much shit going on, I just don't have time to. Okay, those are in. All right. Did I tighten this one up? I tightened that one up. What else here can I do? Those heater hoses got to come across and be hooked up. I ended up cutting this one. This one here's a bastard to get to. I think I got enough hose where I can stick it back on there once I put the cab back on, but I'll have to get that chunk off there that I cut. Or can I find a male barb and just stick a barb in there and shove the hose? It's just a drain line's all it is. I don't know, this was hanging off the back end of this thing. I'm not really sure what that's all about. I don't think it's really essential. I think we're gonna scrap that. What else can I do here? I'm trying to remember where this, there was another line going to that. That's what it was. I'll have to locate that. I was in the process of doing the rock shaft, tightening up the bolts and that. That's what I was trying to do, and this one underneath is just an absolute, it's just a joy, you know? Just makes you so happy. Bolts like this. Then you gotta flip your wrench around to get on it each way. Get home and you go, I'm glad I'm out of there for the day when you do these kind of jobs. Anyway, I went over there and let's see, I had one ranch I went to today, and the foreman's pickup, he's got a 15 Dodge 3500 with the 6.7, and it had multiple problems. I guess his first complaint was it was losing power, and then it was clunking when he put it in reverse. Well, of course it had sealed U-joints in it, and they were, the back one on the rear end was bad, and so I jerked the dry line out and I thought, well, might as well just change both of them, you know. My light is not cooperating with me. And anyway, popped that out, and then I hooked the laptop up to it, and it had a no communication code with VGT actuator. And most of the time on those Dodges, it's the actuator. So I pulled the inner fender out of it and checked battery power and ground to it, which was good. Then I checked the can high and can low to it, and I had like 2.5 on can high and 2.4 on can low, so that pretty much tells you that your VGT actuator is junk. So I ordered one of those, and if you're going to order one of those VGT actuators for a 6.7 Cummins, don't order them through Dodge. And you can probably find them on the internet or something, but I order them directly from Cummins. I called Lithia. Oh, it's been... Hang on. Anyway, where was I at? So anyway, I mean, I called Lithia years ago for one of those VGT actuators on them Dodges, and they wanted like $3,500 for it. I mean, it was just, I told the parts guy, is that the whole turbo? And he goes, no, that's just the actuator. I said, no, you guys are out of your frickin' minds, man. There's no way in hell we're gonna do that. So I got the serial number and I just called Cummins. And some of that stuff with the engine serial number you can get through Cummins on them Dodges. Some of it you can't. Some of them part numbers, I've rebuilt some of them 6.7 Cummins or 5.9s or whatever, and you'll start parting some or getting your parts list together, and some of that stuff, certain part numbers are proprietary, and that actuator is not one of them. So, but it's like $760 through Cummins versus $3,500 through good old wonderful Dodge. So I see that one nut, I gotta get a magnet. I see what happened to the other nut. Now I couldn't find one of the nuts, and I was like, where in the hell did it go? And I was gonna find it later, but I see it now. And what else? Let's see. So I did that, and then I noticed while I was... Where the hell's my magnet at? Looking for the magnet. There it is. So while I was working on that, I noticed that the positive battery cable on the passenger side, the little ear on it, it was basically broken half. So I put another, well, I called Lithia. I had to get that through them. It's a special battery cable. And I got another battery cable for it. And they had to order that too. Of course, nobody ever has anything. You know how it goes. That's what happens when you're living in a third world shithole. Welcome to Zimbabwe, you know. Oh, we don't got one, but we can order that for you. Yeah. Can I just find your source where you're ordering it, and I'll just order it myself and cut you out of it? How's that sound? Since you don't want to stock anything. They don't usually disclose that kind of information, though. That is not for you to know. I know. Gotta complain about something, you know. Okay, where's this one bolt in here that I gotta zip up? Okay. Okay, so start putting lines and all that kind of good shit on there. Kind of cloudy and overcast and real humid today, and just sweating like crazy today. It's only like 82 degrees, but man, it's humid. I don't know how them guys down there in the south. I guess you get used to it, I guess, but that 105 degree weather, and it's 95% humidity, and you're like, holy shit, man, I don't know how them guys do it. I gotta get this dipstick tube back down where it goes. Oh, come on. I think I grabbed it with a pair of pliers last time and wiggled it and moved it and cussed and yeah, so I get a pair of pliers or something on it. I always push them back up through there because if I set it on the ground, I don't want it bending the tube up. So, but it's always lots of fun trying to get them back in there. Trying to decide what I want to do next. I think I'll put that valve on the other side, which I probably should have cleaned that off. Let's pull this quad ring out of here. So I'm just going to reuse it. There's nothing wrong with that. Man, I don't want to fire up the pressure washer just for that stupid valve. I'm just going to blow it off. We'll just blow it off and take some brake clean, blow it off the air nozzle. Yeah, I don't want to start the air compressor or the pressure washer and drag the water hose out. And I should have washed it the other day, but I forgot about it. So let me get some brake clean and my blower nozzle and I'll clean this thing off. Alright guys, well, I got everything. I want to see if it'll back up. And I gotta lay underneath this thing, so I thought, you know what, if it backs up, I'm gonna clean this mess up and then lay back underneath it. I don't have to lay in all that shit. Okay, let's see, I better get this bucket out of here. I can get those blocks afterwards, but I'm afraid that I'll hit something on this bucket I drained the oil into. I got 15 gallons. It needs some more oil, but I'm just gonna make sure. I still got quite a bit of shit to do here to put back on it, but it's at least to where maybe we can see if she's going to act right. See if I can dump this all over the place. It's pretty damn full. Okay. Where's the fill cap at? It's right there. Let's put that back on there. And take that loose now. Okay. I got a bunch of tidying up to do, but got the back cab mounts, so I don't have the front ones tight yet. It took me forever to get those back cab mounts lined up. Son of a bitch, they would not line up. Kept picking up on it just a touch, you know, trying to get it to move, and then wasn't picking it up square. It was picking it up from the back end first, so then it would pitch it like this. So then by the time you set it back down, then the holes were too far back this way. It was settling out, you know. Finally got a bar in there, and I just kept prying and had another bar up under here up against that axle flange and was pushing on it and finally got them to drop in there, but it took a while. I got a big gear over there I was using for a block. I'm gonna have to back up, if it will, just a little bit, and get that gear out of there. And I don't have the shut off, and you'll see the stoplight flashing because I don't have everything hooked up yet. I like it when they move. They got the air cleaner and everything off of it still. put that shut off in the most awesome place on these pumps, between the block and the pump. And it's just absolutely wonderful trying to get that shut off cable back in there. Well, I'm gonna clean this filthy, disgusting mess up here and then pull it back ahead. I mean, so far it shifted in, I don't know, I think I got the fourth and I got all the reverse gears. Got something leaking here? What have we got going on here? Did I not tighten something? Yeah, that one's not tight. Gotta tighten that one up. I got a leak there. And then, what else do we got to do? I got to fix the stupid wires when I tried to unplug it. They were barely just wire hanging on there on the alternator here. And they broke off. I don't know if I can solder that back on there. I might try that. If I can get this out of there. If somebody's broke the tab off, it's up inside there. I don't know if I can get a pick in there and get that out. Then I can run the wires up underneath and back over to the fuel tank. I mean, that's the only way on these 50 series I could ever figure out. They didn't make a connector to go over here to unplug this harness from the engine. You know, if they would have made a connector over here that unplugged it, I mean, that would have been the common sense thing to do. Because this is all going up here, but then it goes into the firewall here, and you don't want to tear all that shit apart. So, anyway, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. So, yeah, we still got quite a ways to go, but hey, man, she's moving. Oh, let's check the PTO. That's what we tore this thing apart for. So the first thing we can do is start it and see if the PTO break. So right now, to go around this way, there's not enough room. So right now the PTO should turn because there's, jeez man, those duals on that thing sure make things difficult to get around in here. I didn't pull them off because it was just like another thing that I had to do that I didn't really want to do. Okay, she's turning. That's what it's supposed to do because the PTO brake is not on because there's no pressure applied to it. So let's just start it. Should be locked up tight now. Yep. Uh-oh. We got a problem over here. That would be that hose that I just told you I didn't tighten up, and then I still forgot to tighten it up. Dumbass. You dumbass! Let's see if I can get it in here. It's 5/8, ain't it? Here's the snap-on, little stubby one. Damn it, and there's another damn mess. Son of a bitch, man. Just had my head up my ass. Yeah, it didn't. Okay. Let's try this again, huh? Now that we've uncorked our head out of our ass. Shut off must be partially out. Yeah, I think it's a bar here. heck of a, the fuel leaking out of that priming pump or something there. Yeah, I've always got a heck of a leak there. Alright guys, I'm gonna clean this mess up here. Now I gotta go get some power sweep and dump on that shit. And then keep pretty confident that everything's gonna work out all right, because usually you'll know it in the first 5 or 6 gears that you shift in. You'll know you got a problem, because most of even the lower gears, they all share, you know, certain clutch packs for engagement. So usually if you get like into the first 5 or 6 gears, you've pretty much used every pack in it. So I'm pretty certain she's going to be fine. So anyway, I'm going to clean up here, and then I'll be back with you and try to get the rest of this stuff put on there. Okay, let's just pull it on up and get this thing kind of wrapped up, man. I backed it up actually 2 times and clear up against the fence line. I came up here as fast as I could go, and I got it into the second to the last highest hole, which I think is what, 14th? Yeah, I didn't get it in the 15th, but I'm pretty certain if you got 14 of them, you'll have 15. Back it up. With all 4 reverse. Start out in 3rd. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. I had this pickup here that I got to put a ring gear in. That's jump it to get it started. Let's see if it'll shut it off, see if it'll restart again. Okay. Let's go do the fun part, guys. Let's just start hammering this stuff out. You say you wanted to get in shape, did you? Keep telling my wife you don't need to go to the gym. You can come to the shop with me. Is this going to be a good view from here, maybe? Yeah, let's see. Counterweight. I don't know what these are. What is I thought they were 50 a piece, is what I thought. They used to say on there what they were. Oh, 47 kilograms. So what's that, 50 pounds? Never mind. I was way off. That's 103 pounds. These are 103 pounds apiece. Okay. One. Ow, my finger. Yep, dude. Go to the gym when you're doing shit like this all the time, huh? You're probably saying, well, why don't you just leave them on there? What happens is, with all the counterweights on the front and a splitting stand on the back, and you separate that tractor, as soon as you get separated from the clutch housing, she'll go whoop, stand right up on her nose. And then you're having good times getting her back down. I'm talking about really good times, which I've done it. Did it on the Agco tractor. The only time when I ever did it to. I was tired and I split the tractor at the customer's hay in his hay barn. And I just didn't even think about it. I was just tired. I'd been working long hours. I thought, you know, some bitch is kind of fighting me pretty hard coming apart. What the hell's going on? Something must be bound up. And as soon as I got it, lucky I was out of the way, she just went whang, just stood right up on her nose. It didn't hurt anything. It just stood up on the counterweights. I got come-alongs and all that shit, and I got it come along down back onto the splitting stand. Somehow I pulled it down. I wrapped chains around the axle flanges, and then I pulled the back end back down on the ground with come-alongs, and then I went up there and undid the counterweights, and then I went ahead and rolled it on apart. It's like, holy shit. That was almost a really big, bad deal. Really bad deal. Could have been a lot worse. All the way over or what? I'm not thinking that I'm all the way over here. It's looking better. Still not all the way over though. Get a bar. gotta keep in mind, this tractor, so this guy here, I grew up next to this guy. He was a neighbor of mine. And I knew this guy since I was just a little runt. Well, I was still on a runt, but you son of a bitch. Okay, that last one should fit on there. It'll be tight, but they got all the weights they could get on this one. Anyway, he bought this tractor used, and that's back in, because when I got out of high school, a guy named Buster Chris, he bought a 4455 in like 1993, I believe. That was and he bought that brand new 4455. Well, this is a 4450. This is a series before that. So Greg bought this one from some outfit named Osborne's over in Toohey Lake that went bankrupt. I don't know if he bought it directly from him or if he bought it at the bankruptcy sale. But anyway, so when he bought this tractor, really the 50 series wasn't that old at that time. It was still a fairly new tractor, really. Probably 80s, late 80s vintage, something like that is what I'm thinking. But anyways, I'm the first one that's touched this tractor. He bought it in 1996. He said he's never had it opened up since he's had it, since 96. Yeah, they just barely fit on there. Okay, so now I got 4 or 5 more on the other side. If you like your fingers, you got to be careful with these. Two more. Whew. I'm sweating my freaking butt off, man. Got the front drive line in it, all that stuff. I gotta tidy up all the wiring before I can even put the hood on, though. Okay, all those are on. Of course, I need to clean these bolts up because that's a bad thing. I mean, when these tractors like this haven't been apart in 30 years, look at those bolts. I had a hell of a time. I had to get the 3/4 gun on to get them out. I thought they were gonna snap in two, but we got to take the wire wheel, clean this rust up real good and anti-seize them before we go back in. So the guy has to pull them back off. That's the thing, like I was saying, you know, you split one of these in two and go through it that hadn't been torn apart in 30 years, you got your work cut out for you. Well, somebody used to haul this tractor quite a bit somewhere. That's from chaining it down on the truck. Hasn't been these guys. I mean, that tractor's been out there for 30 years, since 1996. Must have been the guys over in Toohey hauling it somewhere. Okay. All right. Let's get the main components together on it. Let's get the drive line in it. But I got to put... excuse me while I sweat. Just cloudy and humid. These bolts here will go underneath. Got to put the floor mat back in it. Add more oil to it. Got to put the air cleaner housing in it. Now that I've drove it, now the drive line will be out of sync with the front differential, and I'll probably have to jack up one corner and turn the wheel to get it to line up. But these will go up in here. There's actually one clear up in here I gotta put in, but the only clutch pack that didn't get done, and I asked him if he, and I told him he would probably be fine, is the mechanical front wheel drive pack. And I explained to him, I said, I can do this if that ever goes out on you. I can do it with it in the tractor. I don't have to split the tractor in two to do that. So he's like, oh, well, let's just leave it alone then. That's what we opted to do. I have to go get me a light or something. I can't see shit. Man, I can't get an extension or something to get up in there. But so I'm gonna get these bolts in there, tighten them down, and then just keep going along here. There really ain't much else to see, guys. You guys seen it at PTO Works, PTO clutch brake, or the PTO brake works. She goes forward, she goes reverse, all that good stuff. We just gotta tie these things back up and finish it up, and we should have her whipped. I'm just gonna have to kind of go over it and make sure I didn't miss anything, didn't get something tightened up or something, double check everything.